Hey there, and welcome to the January garden. So my name is Anna. This is my little home garden. I do also have a community plot, but not much is going on over there. Here, however, there are a few things growing. It's been pretty snowy. We've had a little freezing rain, so things are not looking their best, but I thought it'd be fun to just kind of see what's growing in the garden in January. I'm in zone 7A, so luckily we are able to grow a few things, which is kind of fun. So I will show you all of that. Let's take a look at the garden. So right here is one of my row covers, and these have been really nice for growing things throughout the winter, just to kind of speed up a little bit of the growth. Right now we've had pretty cold nights. It's been in the teens Fahrenheit, so not a whole lot of growth is happening, but once it warms back up to like the 30s Fahrenheit, that's around 0 Celsius or 40s, then some growth starts to happen under the row covers again, which is awesome. Right now under here, I just have some Mizuna Mustard. You can see those little sprouts. I have some bull's blood beets, which are just barely coming up. And then I also have some matador spinach, which is looking really, really good. I'll turn you around and show you a little bit closer. So the beet seedlings are teeny, teeny, tiny. I don't know if you can see those, but the spinach is looking great. That's those long seedlings. And then I actually have some Jade Cross Brussels sprouts, which I just got from the garden center this fall. I popped those in there. They're kind of hanging out. Not a whole lot of growth has happened, but they are looking okay. And then the seedlings over here for the mustard. I've got a little snapdragon over there. And then I actually seeded sweet peas in here along the edge, but they haven't come up yet. I was a little bit worried about these seedlings, and you can see the mustard doesn't look amazing, but I think they're gonna bounce back, and hopefully next week temperatures will warm up, and then they'll be just fine. Seedlings like this are pretty hardy. I find that, you know, they may take a little bit of a beating and you might lose a couple, but most of them will do okay and they'll bounce back. And even if they lose like 1 or 2 leaves, as long as they've got a little bit of growth going, they should be just fine. So I'm gonna take you over to my other row cover, and this one has like some lettuce and carrots and that kind of stuff. On the way over, I've got these containers with cabbage. This is a 45-day cabbage, which has been growing much longer than 45 days. They've been kind of slow, but they still look pretty nice. And considering they just had about 6 to 8 inches of snow on top of them, I think they look amazing. This catmint does not look as amazing. This is lesser catmint. Oh, that is really frozen in there. It was blooming though all the way up until Christmas. It has been such a beautiful perennial, and I'm expecting it to overwinter just fine in these containers. The fact that all this got smashed down won't matter, because I will just come in the spring and trim that all back, and then it'll flush back a new growth. Another cabbage there. This one has kind of gone off the side of its container, but you know what? That's okay. Just happy to have it. And then over here is my other row cover. And I've got a few little perennials in the corner here, a phlox that I need to cut back, and some scouring rushes that are still looking amazing. Scouring rushes are a super fun one. They are very perennial for me here in zone 7, and they stay just lovely green all the way through the winter. They do spread really quickly though, so if you don't want them to take over or you don't have time to manage their growth, I would recommend probably not going with the scouring rushes. My garden is so small that even something that's kind of invasive, I can keep a handle on it, because I just have time to come out here and manage it, just because my garden is the size that it is. I do have them in these topiary forms. Let me see if you can kind of see. It's inside a little topiary form, and that's just to help hold it up over the winter, because I find that sometimes when we have a lot of wind or snow or rain, it can kind of push them over sideways. So being in the topiary form for the winter just kind of helps things stay upright. And then let's take a look underneath this row cover. I'm gonna need to bring you around. So we have some lettuce. This is Forellenschluss lettuce. I got a mix of just like salad greens at the garden center, and carrots, and then there's a bunch of snapdragons all the way along the front, and a couple pansies. Honestly, everything looks pretty good. The carrots I'm super excited about. These are those little Parisian carrots, I think, that just make the small little like 1-inch round carrots or 2-inch round carrots. And so I'm super excited to see how those grow. I don't think anything's really formed in there as I'm looking, but that'll be a super, super fun one. Then I have these two beds. There's some cabbages under the snow back there. And as you can see, they look pretty good. I've mulched them in really deeply with leaves, and there's also a dahlia in that bed. So I'm like letting all the leaves and snow and everything stay in there just to try to keep the dahlia as warm as possible. I am not gonna mess with that. I want that baby to come back. And then in here is a bunch of arugula. You can see I was digging through here to get some for a salad. It rained all day yesterday, and so everything is like really kind of iced over. But you can see these salad greens, the ones that were in the rain, maybe not so much, but under the snow, they are just fine. Like just beautiful, happy greens, and they taste super good, really kind of sweet and spicy. I just love arugula in general. It's such a good green. Arugula is probably one of the tastiest greens you can grow in the winter garden. I like mustard greens too. They do really, really well. Obviously some of the lettuces do well. That French lettuce I found is really hardy. It really handles cold well in my garden, but arugula is like my tried and true. It always sprouts the fastest, it always grows the fastest, it always lasts the best, and it's my favorite green. So I'm always like a salesperson for arugula. Go buy some arugula. Amazing. I've got a couple containers right here. Another cabbage. This one that looks really flattened has some snapdragons in it. And then I also have a container that has, well, right now it just looks stelly, some Brussels sprouts. There was a viola in there, and there was a snapdragon in that one too. Although I'm not quite sure how those are looking with all the snow that's kind of packed into that container, but we'll see. I also have my greenhouse here, and inside are just a few things that I'm getting started. I did a whole video about what I'm starting outside in January, and so I'll link that, but that has all of these things that are started and a few plants that have died. They've succumbed to the cold, so I've got to get rid of these mandevillas, tomato, hibiscus, although that is a petunia, which somehow it is warm enough in the corner of this greenhouse that it is doing okay. There's some garlic under there, Sicilian and Montana, a couple eucalyptus that I cut back, but are looking really, really, really awesome. I did cut it back, but as you can see, it's sending out new shoots, and it seems to be doing pretty well. And then there's an alyssum, cilantro, and a teeny, teeny, tiny pansy. Right now in the greenhouse, okay, it's looking pretty warm. It's almost 70 or about 20 Celsius, and it's unheated, so at night, if it's not sunny and it doesn't have any like of that heat from the sun to keep it warm, it does get pretty cold in here at night, probably the same temperature as outside. But if we have a sunny day like today, these rocks down here heat up, and it does stay pretty warm, maybe like 10 degrees above the outside temperature. So I'm hoping that's enough to help something like these little sprouts get started. The last section of my garden are just a few little pots. I have some forget-me-nots. These are pink forget-me-nots that have gotten started. And then I also have one little pot of bulbs and another pot of garlic. This poor pot got flooded, so I'm not sure how those forget-me-nots are gonna do, but everything else is looking good. And I've just covered this space with a row cover too. It's right up by the house, kind of just my staging area as I get ready to move these out into arrangements with all the different pots in the spring. So that is the January garden. As I said, not a whole lot going on, but we've got some things growing. We're still harvesting salad, so that feels good. And there's a lot of seeds starting. There's a lot more seeds going on inside, and I'm hoping to get some winter sowing and everything going on out here too. But just wanted to give you a little update. I so appreciate you watching this. Thank you for hanging out. I will talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.